this. Oh, this makes me so nervous when I'm recording these Zoom meetings because I'm literally about to interview the commander in chief of planet Earth. And the last thing you want when you're interviewing the commander in chief of planet Earth is for something to go wrong and it not record, and you email him and really bad grammar and say, Chief, I'm sorry, but it didn't record. Can we do it again? That would suck. But I think I got it all figured out. I think it's all running smoothly. We're just waiting for Mr. Gould to jump on in here, and there he is. Russell, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was outside here for a few seconds.
That's all good. It's your world, man. You do what you want.
Yeah, well, it's my view.
Man, it sure is pretty out there where you're at.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the mountains here in Arizona. That's my view.
Man, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
you're like 9 miles away from your nearest neighbor. Is that what you told me last time?
Something like that. It's not a bad place to be.
I don't blame you. Sometimes with everything going on, I just want to go live in the woods and everybody leave me the hell alone.
Oh, man. That's fact.
I'm thinking I might just do it. I might just be one of those woodsmen that hunts.
Well, I like the accoutrements of being in town for sure.
Yeah.
It's a nice, the food and, all the cool things that we get to do. But for what I'm doing right now, this is a very nice place to be.
So is it like a happy medium for you?
It is. It is. I don't get to town too often because I work an awful lot. And so when I do get to town, I went and played basketball yesterday.
How'd that go?
Got some jumpers up, man. Still splashy.
You're still wetting them up?
Still wet, pretty wet. I pulled up to these young kids, and they're about 23, 24 years old. Big rip, right? I walked up to them and said, "Hey, man, I'd like to play you in a game. Let's play some ball." And this dude, he's stacked. He goes, "Look, man," he says, "I'm not looking to lose to you, dude." He said, I go, "No, dude." I says, "We could be on the same squad." I said, "Let's just wait till these cords get jammed, and then hit me up. I'll come down and be on your squad." He goes, "Man, as long as I'm playing with you," he says, "that works." Dude, like fast, ripped. Like
really?
6'3", like 240, Yoki. Just, I'm ripping it. They recognize, bro. They recognize. He was in front of his chick, too. I was like, I couldn't believe he was saying that. I was like, whoa.
That's crazy. You're like Billy Hoyle.
I'm my homeboy, but he says, "Man, you and your homeboy can ball. Straight up ballers." I said, "Yeah, I'm legit."
Oh, man, I got to come ball with you one day. I don't even play basketball anymore, but I'll come out of retirement for you, bro.
Yeah. I don't get to play like I would like to because I'm so vested in helping the world right now.
I understand that, man. I've been in the same kind of boat. Probably not doing the same things you're doing, but I've been working hard on like making videos and getting the word out, and I don't get to go do a whole lot of stuff that I really want to do. But hey, you choose what you do, right? And
You do. I'm very thankful for everything. I stay pretty much to myself. I have a couple people that I work with that are geniuses, and so I get to play in the land of the genius every day, and so I'm excited about that. So I'm real happy about my work environment. It's really cool. So.
Oh, awesome. So what have you, other than playing ball and schooling people, what have you been up to lately?
I'm thinking about going to South America. I got a lot of people down there that are really interested in the grammar, and I'm thinking about going down to go offshore for a bit and put on a seminar. I'm not sure exactly when that will be, but I'm going to try to facilitate that here in the next month, I think.
Oh, cool.
getting and then I'm going to try to get to Washington, D.C. soon. I would like to go over there and present some solutions on the financial end to help the citizens of this country.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pain and a lot of suffering that just doesn't have to be. So I'm going to do
most of the pain and suffering seems like it's avoidable, and it also seems like it's perpetrated.
Yes.
And we're all wanting solutions, and we're sick of the bullshit, man. I know I am. I'm over it. It's time for a change. That's why I'm here talking to you right now, man. I'm trying to do my little part and make this thing happen.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you putting me on your show. I appreciate your audience, and I'm sure you have a diverse audience.
I do.
Yeah. Tell me about your audience. What do you got rolling with that?
Man, honestly, this my channel is pretty new. It's on YouTube. I'm getting it's starting to snowball. I started with one video about you, and I just started copying and pasting the link all over Twitter and just putting it out there. And people were like, "Oh wow, thank you. This is awesome. I can't believe this." Blah blah. And that was only like not even 2 months ago. And then I didn't make another video for over a month, and then I made another one, and it's really starting to pick up steam. I'm starting to get really busy with all the messages and the comments and trying to keep up and respond to everyone. And
how is that world? I hear a lot of chatter from a lot of people. I had a big fallout with this guy Horton. He ended up being quite a flake for me, so I had to deal with that. A flake, yeah. It took someone whose word was. So you got to comprehend where they come from. See, when you talk about the U.S. Army Psychological Warfare Department, you're talking about they have a motto. And the motto is they wage war, or we wage war through deception. And so when I was taking him under task, I knew what I was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And so he ended up not being someone that, for me, that I would conduct business with. So
do you think, are you saying that he was like an enemy in disguise?
In a lot of ways, it sure seems that way, based upon his own oratory and some of the things. And so I had to deal with that in my own way, and I'm still dealing with it in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
I have a different style because of the psyop that I have.
Hey, Russell, you muted me.
I conducted a military court-martialing in Washington, D.C. every 45 days, for 3 to 4 years. And so I have a different background in military theater than all of you, based upon the product, my walk and my journey.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I got to see things. I started first working with U.S. Navy JAG's office in 1996. Dealing with shipping and all the things that I got involved with, the shipping wars and how this all works. And so then that was a really interesting time, because I was teaching them about quantum grammar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a muster hyphen master for the Secretary of the Navy's office, which means that I superintend the muster rolls as well as superintend fraud and put troops in the field and for drills and for authorizations for theaters and campaigns in different directions. As Postmaster General of the world on the secrets that I have, I not only direct this military, but I direct all militaries on the planet, for all militaries are under the control of that country's post office, and I disqualified the Universal Postal Union, and I have contracted the Vatican and different various places around the world because of my technical skills and knowledge to move and control the theater of a war and the theater of a peace. And so it's a juxtaposition, and it's a lot that I had to undertake and hold space for and learn about. So, so my position with Horton is much different than probably everyone else's, because of all the theaters and the different plights and generals and the things that I've had to deal with, basically off record, for better lack of words.
Right.
But it is what it is. And, I took that theater on, got to comprehend, you're dealing with a situation where people are very compartmentalized within the military. There's a lot of good people and there's a lot of bad people.
Most of them I think are good. I think most of them are there because they really want to do what's right, do their part for this nation.
You would think so. They have loved ones here, they have their families here, they love them, they hate to see them go through depressions. When I became Chief Judge of the U.S. Supreme Court on October 1st, 2004, one of my pocket-judgment, it was one of the claims was to be paymaster-general. So I'm a paymaster-general for the Pentagon as well. So I have different functions on that, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with my medals and all the things that I've had to learn there. So it's been quite a journey for me there. But the military, that's one of the reasons, concerns why I'm going to go to D.C. is to go back to the Pentagon to talk with them about changing the way that we conduct theaters and certain things. And, I have a valid position to say those things because, I have a Title IV contract with the Secretary of the Navy's office, was leased with them. So that was authorized on February 20th of 2003 at the Secretary of the Navy's office. So, it's been so for Robert Leroy Coleman Horton, he's not involved with me as a treaty captain anymore. His position has been terminated. But I have a different way of those performances. And so those will be on the site. Anybody that is in the quantum grammar world, just have comprehension that this man has no, he's not on my side anymore. Mm-hmm. So that just needs to be brought forth. But I don't really, I saw a lot of good and a lot of bad, and people have different ways that they, try to control things. I'm someone that, because of my position, I'm not a very controllable cargo because I'm the director of that. So I'm been very difficult for governments to work with because I'm on the side of the people. I call bullshit when it's time to be bullshit, and I call things righteous when things are righteous. I'm pretty cool and pretty smooth if I need to be that way because of my technical skills and diplomacy if I need to go that route. But for right now, because I'm a martial law theater and the things that are, manifesting on a day-to-day level, I stay pretty much, low key until it's time not to. And, the world will know when that is. I've told everybody that, hey, I'm going to be coming off the porch. You guys may not like what it looks like because I am what I say. And, you asked a good question last time, why aren't you dead and all these things. And, I've dealt with that for years with the assassins and the different things. And, at the end of the concern, in the day and the night, I'm still here. It's one of the major concerns of the dirty bankers on the planet is why I'm still walking around. And so it concerns a lot of people. This is the number one question by the bankers that I deal with, interact with, is, why aren't you dead? And I said, well, somebody controls all that by contract, and then by might makes right. So that's unfortunate, and so you got to be careful on what spirit and what direction that you side up on.
Well, you ain't going nowhere, man. You ain't going nowhere. They're not going to get you. I know that. They're not going to get you. It's not going to happen.
No, I'm protected way on high, and I have my covenant with my creator, and everybody everybody can identify that with themselves. It's not my job to tell somebody what that looks like.
Right.
But I'm on a mission here, and it's for the peace. It's for a greater, it's for something that is hopefully will give the people a chance to have rights and have freedoms and to love and joy and share with their family members for a long, long time. What's really cool about this is everything's locked into the now space for the infinity-loop. So it's already in the now. It's already, for the people, they're learning about how to join my system. It's a hard thing for people to learn because there's a lot of bad actors in the theater making a lot of different claims and doing some wrong leading. So that's sad for me to see. But as the citizens of the world do their due diligence and they cover and find out exactly, who I am and who I was compared to David Ivan Colin Miller, my partner. And, as they backlog and go through when he surrendered the flag in Grand Rapids, Michigan in federal court and all the things. And, at some point, what is society going to do when the U.S. Marshals and the different theaters come forward and say, yeah, this is Russell. We know Russell. See, I met a lot of good people within the theater, even though I was getting beat down, and I made friends, right? Because of the rough, the path that I was on and the secrets that I earned. Now, it was, some of the things when I hear people handing out federal postal judgeships and people claiming this and that, it's like, no, I don't have a contract with any of you, and I know what that looks like, and I know the condition of knowledge that's needed to be established, and you can't come into the program for less than 12 years and not go toe-to-toe with the judicial system in and out to earn the honor of them to keep them off you. Right. And so there's a lot of bad people making a lot of false and fraudulent claims, and it's sad to see because it's wrong leading society. And but people are smart. I give them the benefit of the doubt. I give people the capacity to do their due diligence and to look at the track record of who I am and what I've said and the sacrifices that I have made and I've been forced to make. And so sometimes, in those sacrifices, maybe I lose sight of why I was set on this path because it's been such a difficult walk for me.
And a long walk too. It's been a while, man. Didn't you capture the flag in like 1999?
Yeah. And they tried to get me to surrender it, and that was when all those battles were over. And the military knows that I don't surrender my flag, right? So that's
for patriot.
Yeah, I'm a patriot. I love this country. I love the people here. I love the land. I love the water. I love it all. I'm very disappointed and sad to see all the miscommunication, and I know how the grammar can fix that, as well as the chemistry that goes into our body and all the nonsense that we're coming up against, because there's geniuses all over the place with wonderful technology on food, on health, on travel, on all of these concepts. And this is where my quantum banking, postal banking platform comes into place to put those geniuses to be in control of their own dynasty, so to speak. So I commend the people that are coming forward, because there are many, and people that are just now starting to learn about me and what I've done. And David Ivan Colin Miller, because he was a great part of that too. He made choices, though. Those choices people are going to be able to find out about. They will come to the surface. I have no doubt. And so upon that, we will see what the fruits look like in the end on the long-term on this. Awesome. So, so I'm comfortable with myself. I go to sleep with a good conscience. I have duties and things that I'm in the middle of performing on simultaneously. And it's definitely a long and tedious journey. But, enough about me. What's your audience looking for? What are you guys?
They have questions, man. They have a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine somebody having questions about all this stuff? I don't know why they don't just get it immediately. And it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm joking, obviously.
Sure. Please, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I have a list. I have a list of questions that I would like to get to today, if we have enough time. The first question is a question of mine. I'm curious if you have ever been to Jerusalem, and what was that like, and what were you doing there?
I have never been to Jerusalem. I have never been there, so let's qualify that. I would go. Hold on a second. I would go, but I would be cautious on my travel arrangements over there.
I understand.
So that's and I'm that's a theater I'm learning about too. And this is where I was hoping, Horton would have come through, but he didn't. He's not the one for me on that. So gotcha. I'll figure that out as I need to go. But would I like to go over there? I'd surely love to check it out. It's got a lot of history, and it's got a lot of unfortunate choices where people have their faiths involved on many sides. And so, it's a real battle line, and it's quite a thing for me to be a witness of. I can only articulate to the performance of the land on the contract of the bills of the lading for where things are in place. And this is where I have questions on the mechanics of land hyphen titles and the things, because I just took out the Universal Postal Union. These were things that I spoke with the Israeli ambassador with at the United Nations in 2003. Met with them several times, David Eichel, Colin Miller, and myself. And upon meeting those people, we have found that they had a lot of questions too, and they were pretty upset about the disqualification of the Universal Postal Union. They're pretty upset.
Did they cry about it?
I don't know if they cried about it, but they were a little bit concerned, and they called me many names, and so because some that I don't.
That's what weaklings do. They like to call names when they have no argument. That's what I've noticed. I get a lot of arguments, and fortunately for me, I'm usually right. And what happens is that what I find is that when I have a really good argument that's right, and they don't have an argument, what they do is they call names. So
Sure.
that's probably exactly what was going on there. They had no argument for you, and all they could do is try to ridicule you and ostracize you.
They tried, but when the head of the United Nations Postal Administration, as soon as I told them I was there, I was there for 3 months, met with 82 ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
When I met with them, they called me and wanted to get their pictures taken with me, and they told me flat out, they said, Russell, I've been Jekyll and Gould. Says, you're the greatest postmaster walking planet Earth. You have so much knowledge and so many theaters about this cargo thing, and we know exactly who you are, and we're not at odds with you and what you're doing. So it was quite a thing. They took my pictures. They had their paparazzi there. It was at One UN Plaza,
mm-hmm.
and we had a conversation about authorization and credentialing. And they concurred with my position as Postmaster General of our world, and Postmaster General of the Galactic Postal. I have different banking spaces, as you may or may not know. So I keep people mainly most are stuck in Earth time banking, and so we keep them there for the most part. So, and I don't want to give out too much technology, because when I start talking technology, people are going to steal my concepts, look at cryptocurrencies and all that.
Yeah, you talked about that last time. I think from here on out, you can just say to us, I don't want to talk about the technology because they're going to steal it. We got you. We understand where you're coming from there.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the citizens, because these are techniques that would definitely help them and give them a different position to look at things, and the education would improve. And so I'm sad that people steal so much from me. And the last ones that stole from me real bad were the Chinese. David gave them I disqualified the International Maritime Organization on dry dock vessels, and I wrote a contract for authorizing banks. And Dave gave it through the Chinese military, gave it to the Chinese. And next thing you know, 48 days later, they're kicking off Bricks Bank, right? Because they figured it out, right? So they stealing my concept. So at some point, the Chinese are definitely going to have to pay me a fee for freight for that. Otherwise, they're going to have a concern.
You want me to send them an email and make them pay you? Or should I pay him a visit? Say, give my boy his money.
They owe a lot more than that. They owe a lot more than that, unfortunately, because they've been robbing the citizens of this country blind for years. They've been stealing our technology. They've been hiding behind the fact that they've put the screws to the people to manufacture the creative minds of this country. They have screwed us down with red tape and legislation, so that we have no foundation to be creators anymore, and we are the light of the world. Make no wrong about it. We have geniuses all over the place. And not saying there's not geniuses elsewhere, but our genius has been dumbed down on purpose with their social engineering, our blurred lines, and all the chems, and all the things that they've done to us. Whereas when you go to China, there are no regulations, so they can pollute and cause all kinds of chaos. And they stole our rare earths. They've done so much. We've had so many bad leaders in position that it's been very unfortunate for the American entrepreneurs and the manufacturers of this country. My system fixes that under tariffs and policies and the programs that I wrote, or the methods and mechanics that I wrote for bringing cargo from point A to point B, tariffs on foreign postal governments and how that all works. And so, I don't get a chance to get in the right audience to give teachings on that because, once again, it's not my job to go in and educate them. It's for them to come to me so I can give them the correct education so they don't hurt others. Right. Don't hurt other nations, don't hurt other citizens, and the diplomacy behind all that. So these are things that I'm good at. I'm just not put in the location to give closure on how to do that. So that's unfortunate for the citizens of the world, but I'm not going to let I've already done enough to where we have all these fake and wrong leaders out here in the quantum grammar world saying this, saying that, and they don't comprehend that there were other storylines behind the technology that they have in their hand because they didn't earn any of that, right? They didn't earn the study behind it. They didn't earn, they're just copying and engaged in plagiarism. So I wish I could say more to your audience. And, that's a great question on the Israel question. Back to that. No, I've not been there, but it's a security concern for me at this point.
Yeah.
I've been asked by many people about that. So anyway, that's a good question. Your next question.
All right. I want to talk about your flag and flags in general. What is so significant or special about a flag? What is a flag and why is it important? Where did it start? What is it all about? What is this flag thing?
Well, it came from banners. It came from hieroglyphics. It came from tribal people. They had emblems. They had symbolisms, be it sundials, be it whatever their leadership or their spiritual leaders had. It was a symbol that the people would feel comfortable, and they would join to that community. They would join to the rules. It's the symbol that gives that whoever comes under that location, that there's a set of terms that people are going to comply with. So, he who holds the flag can set the terms, so to speak. This is why they tried so hard to wrestle it away from me, and this is why it did not break. They damn sure know it. And, it's unfortunate that the world has not put the light on some of those people that were trying to break me. And those people have not come forward because, they would be, maybe chastised by their own community because of what it would mean for someone to say, oh, yeah, this is Russell Life and J. Cohen Gould. That guy does what he says. Oh, yeah, that's the guy that he ain't coming out of the grammar. And, oh, yeah, you want to move him? You're going to have to punch him in the face a whole bunch of times and knock him out. Because he don't give a shit. He ain't coming out of his grammar for nobody.
Yeah.
And so, it's unfortunate that those folks haven't stepped forward. But I'm counting on, the Kleins of the world, the Pat Greers of the world, the Pat Greens of the world, the Eric Andersons of the world. I'm counting on those folks to come on forward at some point. Feel free, tell your story, tell how you were being positioned as pawns, tell your story. I had one U.S. Marshal flat out tell me that he had watched me become Chief Judge of the United States at the U.S. Supreme Court. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Eric at? Right? Where's Anderson at? Hey, where are you at, buddy? I'm still here. Dave's not here anymore. Hey, man, It's all right. People need this, and so does your family in Indiana, bro.
Yeah.
Think of me, your family. Think of the ones that I want to help. Come forward, Eric.
I think fear is keeping a lot of these people from speaking up and doing the right thing. They're scared. It's like swimming in the ocean. They feel like they're swimming in the ocean and there's sharks around. They don't realize that fear is the worst thing that you can have. It's what's got us into this mess. Really, is fear. People afraid of this or that, and then they can be manipulated.
and the drugs and all the blurred
Hmm.
lines and people can't trust anyone. And, that's one of the biggest things with me is that, I have to have trust with the people I'm around. I'm up there for you. I recently divorced about 7 months ago now.
I'm
And so
sorry
my
to hear
whole
that.
world is, yeah, not too happy about it, but they made choices and they crossed a line that I couldn't go over.
I
And
know what
so I had to
that's
start.
like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was a different line for me because I am stuck with corporate structure.
Hmm.
And that corporate structure, I have to perform within a certain mannerism and a certain compliance, or I will lose value of my position. And then I don't know what would step in, and I don't know what that would mean for the people. And so I'm not willing to step away from that at this moment due to the fact that, I comprehend the mechanism that I've built. Right? I built the quantum grammar world. I built the quantum mechanics behind contract with David Eiffel and Cole Miller as my witness, and the people that are, that are up along the line that have been in the banking scenarios with us would can verify all that, right? They know that he was just merely there as a witness, not there in any mechanical knowledge position for sure. So
Okay, so let's go back to the flag for a second. The flags in
sure.
general. So you say it started with like tribal people, and they would make their flag, and that stood for their group and
They
their
wouldn't make
geographic.
a flag. It could have been an emblem. It could have been a hieroglyphic. It could have been. It could have been.
Okay, so
It could have,
basically it's a symbol.
it's a symbol. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
symbol. Yeah, it's a symbol. It could have been an animal. It could have been a rock. It could have been a number of things, right?
okay,
Because in certain cultures that I can't talk about, certain things they have certain different faiths of their spirituality with all the oneness here.
that makes
And so
sense. So it's like a
with that,
team. It's like a team. Like you make a basketball team, and you're the Bulls, and then you have a bull, and that means you're like part of the Bulls, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm the one with the title for 101.9 dimension flag.
Uh huh.
Right. This is who I am. And when I come to port, I use that. I erase my colors and I follow certain timelines and certain mechanics with the law of the flags.
Hmm.
And then I have a diplomacy thing already built in because I disqualified the Vienna Convention for fraudulent grammar, and I had to reconstruct that all in a quantum mathematical sequence as well as customs policies, duties, and all of that, just to move cargo from point A to point B. So it was a massive, massive, massive um, learning curve on my part. I was thankful for the chance and the space to learn that, and I'm holding that space. So there's a lot to help and a lot to bridge back when I'm in the right locations to authorize the right situations. So
Right. Okay, so flags are a symbol, and it could, in the beginning, it could have been anything, an animal, a hieroglyph, or a symbol, or whatever. But at some point, they got to represent kingdoms and nations,
sure,
uh,
sure.
and then they made their way onto ships.
They made their way onto vessels, no doubt about it. And then they were on the top of the flag standards, whatever's on the top of the flag standards. There's certain mechanics that, but because of the martial life and law, now things are changed because it's the commander's will of the battleship or of the ship. You know, things have changed, and so there's different networking. There's different things going on within the theaters of the shipping right now, for sure. So.
So, is the United States, as we have grown up to know it, is it one big ship?
Well, it's an adjective pronoun, past tense in that location. It ceased to exist in 1999. That's when all presidential elections ended, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when they did the Florida Chads in the 2000 because they
Mm-hmm.
had to vacate. They had to vacate all that function and then have a ruse upon a ruse upon a ruse of nothingness, nothingness, nothingness. In 2012, I took it upon myself to disqualify every state Senate electoral college vote laws. So I syntaxed all the laws for the Senate electoral votes of the presidency, and then I disqualified the Federal Elections Commission's capacity to put a president into position because they would use what's called a statement of presidency, statement or candidacy, statement being a pronoun, of being an adverb, making candidacy a verb. No such thing as a candidate verb. Plus, all sentences on every form to become a president were in a box. Anything in a box isn't on the page. So I sued the Federal Elections Commission in 2012, and they did not stop and correct. Number one, they couldn't because they lacked one thing. They lacked the flag. See, they're not in a position to do anything. They're just a bunch of nobodies.
So the country they're like waving flags, and every time the president speaks, there's flags behind him, and they're not from my perspective, they don't appear to be the Title IV flag, and usually almost always that has the gold fringe around them, and it looks like a 3x5 flag to me.
It could be. You would want to read Army Regulation 840 and 10, right? And you're going to study through that, and then you're going to want to study Title 36, Section 176, subsection G, and that will deal with the yellow fringe and those sort of things. And then you're going to want to look at the Postal Reformation Act of 1999, which will also show you how they did away with the flags because of what David and I had done. And so, all of those things are a valid position. And now with the martial law, when you study the Army regulations, you'll see that anything on top of the flag set standard suspends or makes the the flag contractable. So you have to comprehend about the flag standards. Different standards and different hieroglyphics have different values. And so you want to follow the value of that and comprehend that. And that will give you a different situation. See, on my flag, I fly the spire. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It's because I'm in a condition of state of the martial law. I've had to step back into a different theater because of all the theaters that have kicked off around me have entered into this very antagonistic, unfortunate loot, pillage, and plunder situation. I did hear that the Hells Angels in California caught the rioters and looters, and I guess they were all retired. What my sources are telling me, they were all retired FBI and cops and people that were off duty and stuff doing the looting.
The looters were.
The looters were. That's what
big shocker.
Yeah, that's exactly right. These were people that my friend was meeting with, or not meeting, but at these are people that were working for a living. So they were in a heister, which is a front forklift, an older forklift, and some of the studs came off the wheels, so they had to go get new wheels on their new studs and new nuts for their not tie rod, but for their hubs. So it's that's quite a thing. And so that I heard that story today, which was rather interesting. It wasn't me even saying it. It was just people talking amongst themselves.
Right.
The citizens are figuring this out. And so that's pretty.
People are figuring it out. People are really figuring it out. I saw even Ice Cube is starting to figure it out, and he's posting about it. And I saw some of the stuff he was posting. I'm like, is this the same Ice Cube that was having such a good day back in 1996 or whatever it was? But people that I never thought would wake up are starting to wake up, and I've even had people message me that hated me 6 months ago. And messaging me now saying, man, I just messaged you to tell you I'm sorry. You were right. This shit is messed up. And when this blah, 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 you know how it goes. And I never expect people, especially really emotional people, and those are the people I tend to have run-ins with, they don't apologize. They're not very good at recognizing and admitting that they were wrong and come back and apologize. That is rare for extremely emotional people to do. And for me to be seeing that is it's encouraging, and it makes me happy to see it. Like, I was never mad at them to begin with, but I see positive change happening. People are waking up. People
Yes, I do.
ended up.
I do too. I see exactly what you're talking about. I see people figuring things out, and as they figure things out, they will see that the grammar and the communication it's a valid situation in their world,
Mhm.
and the usury of that or the mechanics of that is where that I shine to help the citizens and the government get out of their situations and to put a value system behind them that they can count on. And
Let
so
me
this
ask you
is what.
this, Russell.
Go ahead.
So somebody's listening to or watching one of your videos, uh, and they see that they see you talking about how the grammar in the laws and all these contracts is fraudulent and it's basically trash. How does a person prove to themselves that what you're saying about the grammar is true?
Well, they're going to have to go do a little bit of their own homework. I
Uh-huh.
would get I would get into like what I did is I got into like older dictionaries and I studied about prefixes and suffixes of words. Upon finding that, I found a lot of negativity in the words that I was using,
So
and
you
I
went to
stopped.
really old English books that said
Sure.
this is the way the language is supposed to be.
Well,
How old are these books?
it wouldn't say that specifically. They wouldn't have the solution because the math interface wasn't found at that point. They wouldn't
Okay.
have a solution, but what they what would show you would be like in used as a prefix to a word means is a particle of negation, or the prefix de as a prefix to a word means to separate from, or the prefix ex is a particle of negation. And so you have to break through all these conditions to come to the cognition that there's a manipulation being a play on words to create a negative condition of the state. So with the quantum world, is we create a positive. We create solutions, and we build a bridge of rule one and rule same, is that it brings the level of fairness to the closure on what the value of the term of the word is. And so with that being said, this is a foundational function that we participate in, and then once they have to find themselves to be cognizant between the past, the future, and the now. And so when we harness everything in the now, this creates a affinity hyphen loop to create security in a sense of stability that the facts will stay in the now for a performance and a compliance of that condition. So.
Yeah, I find it really fascinating how you talk about how bringing the grammar into I think you call it now time space. Is that how
Now
you refer
space,
to it?
now space, now space. Time
Now space.
is yeah, and this time is no more.
Because I in my life in the last couple of years I've had some revelations. And one of them was about past, present, and future in terms of how where our minds are, not the grammar, but where our minds are. And what I realized is that most people don't their minds are not in the present. They're either stuck in the past and past trauma, which keeps them in pain and negative emotions and negativity, or they're worried about the future, and those two things keep them from living in the present the way they're supposed to. and
Sure.
and when you learn how to live in the present and let go of the past because it actually doesn't exist, you can't see it, smell it, taste it, touch it. It's not even real, and neither is the future. The future isn't even real. They're just concepts that we accept as true because people have told us that our whole lives. But when you realize that they're not real and you come into the moment, the now, which is the only thing that's real, all that stress and anxiety and that negativity and the pain goes away. And I see a similar thing with your quantum grammar, in that it gets rid of all the negativity as well and brings everything into the now. So I think that correlation, it was just fascinating to me to realize that Man, you got a nice sunset going on over there.
You could count on it. I just want to share the view with your audience, and we're
I'm
just going to
sure
watch
they
the sunset.
appreciate it. They have to appreciate it. If they
Yeah,
don't, they're dummies.
we're just going to appreciate the blessings of the sun and the blessings of the now kicking off the moon, and it's a beautiful thing to be a witness to, and I just love the colorations and the peace and calmness that it brings.
Yeah, when people ask me what my favorite color is that color right there. That's what I tell them. My favorite color is that orange. That's it. That's in a sunset. And it's not very normal for somebody's favorite color to be orange, but that's my favorite color right there. I don't know why, but I just like it.
Well, if you give it about another 10 minutes here, you're going to love the sky.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. I still got some talking to do with you, man.
You bet. You bet. Go ahead and ask your questions. I'm just going to answer your questions and let the audience
Yeah, that's cool. That's
chill
cool.
in the
Because
peace.
we can only handle so much of that handsome face of yours, man. You got to give us a break from time to time.
Oh, there you go, man. There you go. Yeah.
All right, so where did you War Castles? Is that your YouTube channel?
That is a gentleman, another gentleman's who broke the story.
Okay.
I have a contract that I'm in the middle of fulfilling with him right now on that.
Okay.
Which that is something that I don't have any access codes to, or
Got you.
I'm not in the day-to-day
How did they
mechanics.
come up with the name War Castles?
I don't have any of the mechanics of that.
Got it. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if I can get them to answer some questions. All right. So my next question is.
But the guy, Mr. Robert Colin Atkins, is a cool dude.
So,
I do know that. I've had cool conversations with the guy, and he actually cares about the people, and he cares about what's going on out here. So he has a lot of courage to do what he's doing.
well, Robert Colin Atkins, like Atkins diet. I might hit you up.
I don't know what.
But yeah, whatever. It's a stupid diet that somebody came out with a little while ago. Doesn't work.
Okay.
But anyway, all right. I might email you and see if you can forward me his email address. I like to talk to him. So how did you come up? Why the term quantum grammar?
Okay. At the time when we first started, we were not in quantum.
So what is quantum?
Quantum is the breakdown from the quanta, which is the first part of it, which is the pluralisms, into a quantum of a finite of now space, of closure, of witnessing, from everything from, it just depends on how technical you want to get. The fact, not the verb, now let me move, the fact of the magnetism, right? Because the mind must see the magnetism first in order to perceptualize constant, which is in fact a fact, because without the thinking to position the constant, the thinking in fact is verb and noun simultaneously. So studying that is part of the quantum, as well as rule one and rule same, and being finite on closure of word terms.
Okay, I'm going to have to listen to that answer about 40 times.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me, but I will make it make sense later somehow, some way.
Well, if you'll have questions on that, and that's probably a technical. I was probably a little bit too much.
I tried to research quantum very briefly, the term quantum, and I just couldn't really wrap my head around it at the time. Maybe it just wasn't time for me to understand that yet.
It's a micro macro joinder of something in a space.
Gotcha. Okay, so a lot of my followers have been messaging me about this new guy. He's not new. He doesn't look new. He looks kind of old, but I don't know. His name is Joseph Gregory Hallett. Have you heard of this guy?
Never heard of him.
Okay, you're going to find this interesting. Can't believe nobody's told you about this guy yet. I just watched a video, a little like interview like the one we're doing right before you and I got on this interview. And I'm just going to say it's interesting. Um, Apparently, he's saying that he is the true king of England. He's saying,
Hold on. So I want you to stop and just. So you said King of England. So king in that position is a pronoun.
uh-huh.
Pronouns get modified by adverbs backwards, and now of it becomes the adverb modifying the location, England frontwards. So
Okay.
you have a pronoun. So you have a no fact in a location of no location, because there's no such thing as England as a verb. So this is fiction. So what's the excitement about fiction? There's nothing to be excited about here. This is a move on condition of the thinking.
That's I'm very new to quantum grammar, but immediately when I started looking at this, I realized that it was all garbage.
Yeah, because look, the right to rule has nothing to do with bloodlines. It has about to do with the capacity of your Bin, your Shanana, your Howard Firestone. Show me where he's at there. Guaranteed he doesn't even
Do you
know
want
what
to
I'm
hear?
talking about.
Do you want to hear what he's claiming to be?
No, I don't, because
You
it's all
sure?
fiction. I'm positive because he's not.
Oh, I
First of
really
all,
want to tell you.
if it's a pronoun adverb verb, you've told me nothing. So
Yeah.
if you say nothing, how can I move forward? I don't even waste the value of my beautiful mind with such nonsense. Why
Okay.
would I?
Well, he said in the interview that I won't list out all the things that he says he is. It's a pretty
Well, you told me what it isn't, right? You already said it ain't nothing anyway.
right.
So
Well,
how can you have nothing? How can you have nothing trying to make a claim of something?
that's what it immediately seemed to me as. And I'm pretty good at smelling bullshit. I've always been good at that. My parents could not even convince me that Santa Claus was real when I was little. That's a true story. They tried to put Santa on the presents and everything. And in kindergarten, Santa Claus came into class, and all the kids are going, Santa, Santa. And I look at this fool, and I'm like, that's not Santa, that's Mr. White. And they're all going, shush, stop, be quiet. You're going to ruin it. And that's kind of been the story of my life. But
well, I can only tell you that if you've got a pronoun, the pronoun pro means no, so you have no fact. So you have a no fact. You have no fact in a location that doesn't exist. So now this is rule one and rule same. There's nothing for nothing. So this is a situation where you just kind of move along.
Well, he's picking up steam on the internet world. So I think it's worth talking about.
That's because somebody's preying upon the ignorance of the people.
Right.
If the people don't know how to read and write, it's not their fault.
Right.
But as soon as they figure out that king is a pronoun, which is no fact, of is an adverb making England a verb, there's no such thing as England a verb. Mm-hmm. This is more nonsense.
Right.
Who wants to listen to more nonsense?
Yeah, and the people that are perpetuating this nonsense, they're all saying, "Look, do your own research. It's all in the documents in England. It's all in the documents." And I can't even speak quantum grammar. I can't speak it or write it, but I can look at those documents and know that they're trash.
Well, let me tell you what. If you're changing size of font, and creating cursive, you're breaking the continuance of evidence. If they're using England as a verb on contract, there's no such thing. This is fiction, 100%, and this is nonsensical to those of us in the grammar construct who have closure based upon knowledge of what brings thought and complete sentences together.
So what would make a person claim some crap like this?
How do you know it's a person? Does it have a claim of the life?
Oh, I guess when I say person, I'm using the definition of person that we've all grown up
Oh,
to.
oh, a corporate. So you're looking at a corp. Why would a corporation continue more fiction corporations? I,
Yeah,
I'm not there to ask the question or
gotcha.
position the condition of thinking. I just know that you told me that there's no fact looking to be in charge of a place that doesn't exist by
Sweet.
your own statement. By your own
Yeah,
statement.
yeah.
That's all I
This
know.
this guy says in the interview that I said, he said he owns the world. I'm like, man, please get out of my
Hey,
face.
let me tell you what. You can keep that which you can hold.
Uh-huh.
So I hope that he and everybody keeps that in mind.
Yeah, I immediately was not buying it. I'm like, this for me it was easier to figure out than Santa Claus not being real.
Yeah, it sounds pretty. Like I said, you're talking about a no fact looking to be in a location that doesn't exist.
Hmm.
So you can tell me what everybody's supposed to do with it because there's nothing there.
Well, I guess it'll be interesting to watch to see what happens with this guy. But this is brand new. It's brand new. It just all started coming out back in like April or something.
Well, if they're using fiction written documents and fiction grammar to verify something that doesn't exist, you have nothing.
It's just a trick.
Just more of the tricks, more of the traps, more of the fraudulent, fictitious grammar of babble, babble, babble. First of all, there's no such thing as England as a verb. This is nonsense. If someone's claiming to be in a location that doesn't exist, well, maybe someone is, really considered to be positioned somewhere so that they don't hurt themselves in the factual world.
Hey, I don't want to cut you off, but is your phone like on top of some? Your audio's not quite coming through clearly. I want to make sure that everybody's hearing what you're saying.
Okay, hold on a second. I'll switch around here. Oh man, I just got a haircut. Anyway, I've been working all day, so you guys get what you get.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah,
That's all right.
for sure, for sure.
Well, I don't think it was where you had your phone or whatever. I think it's just the audio coming through. It did this last time for a little bit, and then it came back.
Sure.
And it sounds like it's better now.
Beautiful. Well, I
Uh,
hope you guys are enjoying the sunset.
Hell yeah!
There's some pinks there, some nice bright oranges. It's beautiful.
That's what I'm talking about. Living in the moment and experiencing what is going on right now. That's where happiness is. And I think your quantum grammar is going to do the same thing for us.
It does
Bring
the
us
same
into the
thing for
now.
the condition. It does the same thing for the condition of thinking. It brings a lot of accountability, but it also gives a lot of peace as well. So it is what it is.
We could all use some of that.
Oh yeah, you know what? I hope the world can see that there's beauty still within it.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of there's some trash going on up above it. See them?
Right.
See them? See them chemtrail idiots?
Yeah.
Those are, yeah, that's all. As soon as I get in position where there are people use my values and the quantum system, that stuff is going to end. Okay, I don't want
Thank
that.
you.
First of all, they look at the trees, look at the pollution that's letting out. Who really knows what it looks like? It looks like to me glorified crop dusting,
Right.
and we are not their crop.
We're not their
Citizens
crop.
of planet Earth,
We're
we
not
are
their
not their crop.
cattle. We're not their cargo.
No, sir. No, sir. So, no, that's kind of got to end. I'm sad to say that there's people chemtrailing still. I guess the leadership of the so-called Washington, D.C. Thinks that's okay.
They're so evil, man. It's so evil.
It's terrible.
It really it's hard not to get angry, man, but I'm not going to go there cuz anger doesn't do anything good. It just ruins people.
It does. It does. But anyways, the starlight's nice. It's nice out. So
That sunset is lasting forever.
This is a beautiful spot.
It sure is.
Yeah, it's on there.
All right. Couple more questions, and then I'm gonna let you. And then I'm gonna let you enjoy your evening. Oh, and I also, when this interview is over and I cut it, I have something that I want to ask you privately that I don't want everybody to hear or know your answer to, because I think it's kind of sensitive. And sorry, guys, it's a secret between me and Russell, and maybe one day you'll find out. But before I ask you that one, and I think I can answer this one already, but a lot of people are asking about it. They're asking about Nasara and Gasara.
Again, pronouns, but okay.
It's garbage. It's garbage law, even if it's written, and it doesn't mean anything. Is that the
Well,
gist of it?
show me the continuance of the facts into the now. Oh, you can't, because you can't take fiction and bring it into the now. Because fiction and fact can't be in the same place at the same time, because there is no such thing as fiction.
Makes sense. So, are people hoping for nothing with this thing?
I don't know. I don't have any of the facts on that. I just know that if my thumbprint and fingerprint are on it in banking, whether they like it or not, the bill of lading is not a valid one.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see what happens with that. In our last interview, I had asked you about Q, and you had mentioned that it was like the letter Q was a hieroglyph.
Oh, it's a character. It's a symbol.
What is it a symbol of?
Well, it's a symbol of a communication line for an alphabet. So it's in something like, with me, I have a SEE hyphen treaty and a CPAS for the character use of those to qualify and put a quantitative value to a position of Q, either phonetically or phonically, or however I so choose to use that character. You know, I don't know where their knowledge basis is, and I know I don't have anything on file for it. So I know if they try to do anything, they went to entities that I have already disqualified. Therefore, their contracts are no good. But that's on them.
Right. Well, that's not what I was asking. I wasn't asking about like the organization or the movement Q. I was literally asking about the letter Q. Like I've learned that our alphabet is basically hieroglyphs. Like M is a picture of mountains and S is a picture of a snake.
Oh, yeah.
So what is Q a picture of? If it is of anything.
Well, that's up to the translator of who's ever joiner on the contract.
Got you.
It's not my job to put a value to that unless it's on contract with me. With me, I use it as a part of a parse to create a flow or a joiner so that people can commune with comprehension on the terms of a contract.
Okay. Cool. All right. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So at this point, guys, say goodbye to Russell. We're gonna have a little secret meeting that unfortunately I'm not ready to let you guys in on yet. I will post all the links below to anything that was in this video, anything that was in this interview. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments or message me on Twitter, and hopefully we can get to them if Russell's kind enough to do another interview.
Sure.
Russell, is there anything that you would like to say before we wrap this thing up?
I'd just like to thank your audience for learning about the grammar, learning about the quantum system. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot of things that people don't comprehend. And I'm going to do a better job at getting that closure out there to the people. I've been very lackadaisical of it because of the performances and the things that I've been currently involved with. But as things come online here with what I'm doing, it'll speed up the educational process for the citizens. So thank you for
Awesome.
your patience, and thanks for studying.
Yeah, well, we're going to study, and I'm going to encourage everybody that's following me to study. I know it's not going to be easy at first, but nothing really is. I mean, everything in life is like that, guys. So, but we just have to do. We have to do it. We can't be afraid of it because it's hard. We have to do it. We have to just start somewhere, and we have to. It's like a house. You build a house. It's a foundation. Then the walls go up, and it looks like it takes forever to get built, and then all of a sudden it's built. It gets easier the more you go along. So we're just going to do it, and I'm going to keep encouraging people to do it. Russell, thanks again for your time, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, I got some more videos coming, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go look at Castle's channel and follow all the Russell story. It's a fascinating one, and we'll see y'all next time. All right, love you guys. God bless.
God bless. Talk to you soon.
All right, no, don't go anywhere.
I'm not. I'm just
Okay.
pushing.